terrain. It's the desert board with the craters and the windswept rocks and scrub. Nice board for a game as we see Necrons clash with Blood Angels on this Warhammer 40,000 battle report. Alright, welcome to this 1850 points battle report. It's a classic showdown. Necrons against Blood Angels. Two sides have never clashed before. Going to start here with my Warlord. It's a Necron Overlord, and we've given him the War Scythe and then a whole stack of other upgrades. He has Phaeron, Phylactery, Semper Internal Weave, that's a 2+ armor save, Resurrection Orb, and a Phase Shifter, which is a 3+ invuln. That's the Warlord. He's accompanied by 9 Necron Warriors, and they are all transported together in this Necron Ghost Ark. I've taken another HQ choice. It's another Necron Overlord, just with one upgrade. That's the War Scythe, and he is in the Catacomb Command Barge. Heavy support here, 3 Tomb Spiders, and then with those is 2 units, fast attack choice, 2 units of Scarabs. And then here, fast attack is the Wraiths, 6 of them, no upgrades, just 210 points, that unit of 6. Heavy support again, taking the Monolith, and again taking a second Monolith, and then 2 more troops choices in dedicated transports. It's 2 of these Night Scythes, each one with 6 Necron Warriors inside. So that's the Necron force, lots of machines, a lot of heavy support choices and flyer. It's going to be a classic game, this one. It's flyer versus flyer, as these Night Scythes will try and take on James's Storm Raven gunships. Be interesting to see the aerial combat that will take place in this game. Right, this is James's Blood Angel force. Warlord there is the Reclusiarch. He's with 7 Death Company. There's 2 power weapons in there and a Thunder Hammer. It's a good unit combination. And also Death Company Dreadnought, and they are being transported in the Storm Raven gunship. A second Storm Raven gunship with Terminators, Assault Terminators, all with Thunder Hammers. And then there is a Dreadnought, Furioso Dreadnought there as well. Heavy support, Predator Annihilator. Then for troops, 2 combat squads. 1 squad in the Razorback here, and 1 squad in the Land Raider. The Land Raider is back. James has dropped the Sanguinary Guard. We're back with the Land Raider. This is his favourite list for Blood Angels. And as mentioned, it would be interesting to see how these flyers do against the Necron flyers. Aerial combat in this game as both forces fight it out on this desert terrain. So we've rolled up for the Snow deployment zone. It's hammer and anvil, so it's end to end that we're playing. Necrons are over in this half of the table. They'll be setting up to the line of orange dice there. And then the Blood Angels will be deploying up to halfway there. There's 6 objectives. We don't know the value of each yet. We've placed them. 1 here for the Necrons, just on the left there. 1 here. James has placed 1 right in the middle. There's another Necron one here, just behind the rocks. And then the last 2 for the Blood Angels. 1 behind the rocks there, and 1 just there as well. So in the Scouring, fast attack choices count as scoring units, which means the 2 units of Scarabs and the Wraiths count as scoring units, but if James kills them, he gets victory points for it. So it's a bonus, but there's also the danger of losing those units. He's got a bad feeling about the game already. I've rolled on my Warlord traits there, and I get to re-roll reserves, which is handy for me getting the flyers on the board. So Necrons will be going first, unless James concedes the initiative. So we're just going to move on to deployment now. Right, so deployment now. The Necrons have deployed here. They've got the monoliths right up to the line. And behind there, hidden, is the Wraiths, the Spiders, and the 2 units of Scarabs, one there and one there. So those are behind and ready to move up. And then for the Blood Angels right on the back line here, the advantage of these las cannons looking up the table. We've got the Predator Annihilator there. The Razorback team with the Dreadnought on the objective, just protecting it. And then the Land Raider sitting here as well with a commanding view over the battlefield. So that's the setup. Blood Angels right back, and then the Flyers will come screaming over the top of them to assault the Necron position. Now we've rolled for the value of each of these objectives. Puts the Blood Angels in a situation because this one's worth a 2. This one here is only worth 1. And then the middle one is worth a 3. That's a good amount of points. But the majority points hang with the Necrons. The one just under the monolith here is worth 4. This one's worth a 2. And then the other one here next to the other monolith is worth 3. So the Necrons really can just sit on their objectives and they'll win. So James's assault force has got to take on the Necrons and push them off the objectives to win the game. So yes, his units are far back on the table, safe, but he'll need to get in close if he's to win the game. That's the situation, and you're going to see Flyers zooming up and down the table, fighting it out for control of this table. So we're going to move on now to the first turn of the game. Necrons on turn 1 is quite straightforward. The monoliths have moved out. Just trying to get some angles on the rocks here really, just to give some kind of cover saves from these las cannon shots coming in, and to keep moving so that we actually get jink because we're skimmers. And then just creating something for our Wraiths to hide behind there. The Scarabs have been breeding, so that's now a unit of 6 over there, so we're quite happy just to sit back and increase the size of those units. Got plenty of spare Scarab bases to add as the game goes on. So the action will start when the Flyers start turning up. The only problem I can see with the Necrons is that our Flyers might arrive first and then his will come on and blow me out the sky, but we'll have to see. As we move on now to Blood Angels turn 1, there's no night fighting, that might come later on in the game. Alright, Blood Angels turn 1. Predator's sitting there, quite happy, looking out across the table. He's done his run moves and flat out moves as well. Pop smoke here, and then the Dreadnought is pushing the Razorback along because it's broken down. It's a joke, by the way. And then the Land Raiders move forwards a bit and has got a view up the table towards the monolith. So it's las cannon fire early on in the game before the Flyers arrive. Right, Blood Angels shooting its first blood to the Blood Angels. The monolith has been destroyed. So firepower from the Predator failed to do any damage on the other monolith, and then it was a las cannon from here, straight up the table, failed my jink save and penetrated, and then rolled a 6, blew it to pieces. So monolith's gone. That's a good hit there. Land Raider is back in the list, it's back in the team, and has dealt out 200 points worth of damage on turn 1. That's it, there's no assault, so we're going to move on now to Necron turn 2. We'll see what arrives from reserve. Okay, Necron turn 2. The Necron army is on the move. There's 2 of the machines have turned up here. That's the Ghost Ark and the Command Barge, just moving up to go up the table here. flyers turned up. At this angle, he's got a shot at the Razorback team. The Scarabs have been breeding again, or the Spiders have bred again, and expanded this unit to 6 now, and then they've moved out onto the objective. The Wraiths have jumped up and over. Now here, the Monolith has moved around through the cover and should be able to get a shot off at the Razorback team here as well. Coming around, the Spiders are coming up through the scrub here, and the Scarabs have moved up behind the Monolith. So the Necron army is on the advance as we go on to turn 2 shooting for Necrons. Right, Necrons shooting and run moves. The barge has moved up another 6. The command barge has moved up 18. It's gone flat out. It's just gone behind there. Scarabs are happy to sit where they are. The Wraiths moved up 2. And then this flyer fired down. He fouled his cover saves there. And 2 hull points and immobilized. So that Razorback is sitting out now, immobilized in the middle of the desert there. And the Scarabs are hiding behind the Monolith here, which I hope we can survive this turn. And then these have moved up a few more inches. So we're going to move on now to Blood Angels turn 2. We'll see if any of James's flyers arrive. It's turn 2 for the Blood Angels. He's rolled for reserves. The Death Company are not on, but the Assault Terminators are. Question is, what is he going to do with the flyer? Multiple targets. Will he go after the Night Sire? He's deciding what to do. This might take a while. He's on, he's put it on, it's here. Looks like he's going after the Monolith. But look at the last cannon. Cross there, looking to take out the Night Sire from across the table. It's flyer versus flyer in this epic showdown between Blood Angels and Necrons. Necrons are on the move, and the Blood Angels are swooping in. Who will prevail? Directional moves around and pops smoke. It's a cautious advance from the Blood Angels, but with good supporting fire. Now the Predator checking his angles. Looking down the table. Oh, there's a Fatch in the way here. Excuse me, viewers. So you've got the Predator Annihilator. He's just shifted it up. And look right down the table. Las cannons against the next Monolith there. Good supporting fire from the Predator Annihilator. Reliable las cannon fire and well protected in the corner of the table here. So that's a good move. You've got flyers moving in for the Blood Angels, but good supporting fire from the ground units as well. That's what makes this list effective. And really, that's the movement for the Blood Angels there. The Predator shifted up 6. This one's going to sit here. Remember, it's got the 5-man assault squad inside. The Dreadnought's moved up and has popped smoke. This flyer's screamed in here, looking to take on the Monolith and shoot across to the flyer. And then this Land Raider's moved up with las cannon shots at the Monolith as well. So strength 9 hits coming in at the Monolith. Will we survive this turn? Right, shooting for the Blood Angels on turn 2. He is not amused. One glancing hit from this one. And then firepower from this Land Raider and the flyer have failed to do any damage to the Monolith. It's that armor 14 seems to be saving the life of the Monolith at the moment. So it's still alive, hardly scratched. And he failed to do any damage to this flyer as well. So could it be a trap for the Storm Raven? If we can get the other flyer on, swing this one around, then the two working together could bring down the Storm Raven gunship. We shall see. We're going to move on now to Necron turn 3. Right, Necron movement on turn 3. More Scarabs been bred. We've got a unit of 9 down there now. Quite happily sitting on the objective. We've backed right off. It's full of assault terminators. Don't want to go near them. So we pulled back. Monolith shifted back 6. And then the Scarabs have fallen back to here. And so have the Tomb Spiders. Quite happy just to sit back here and breed. And then these guys have fallen back a bit, just try and get out of the line of sight, so they're not getting picked off. And the bar just tried to move, shift over a bit to the left, just to get a better angle at the table, so it doesn't get shot at by las cannons from the Land Raider. Coming up the table here, our Wraiths have jumped over 12, and the command bar just moved up as well, heading off to try and take out the Annihilator. Any chances to try and take him out in combat. And we've also got a view to try and take on this Razorback and its team as well. Trying to ignore or trying not to get too close to that Dreadnought, because he has got good combat power. I don't want to get stuck in combat with him. I want to be freed up to choose what I want to take out. Now the two flyers, one's pivoted and gone 18, the other one's come on about 36, and we are screaming towards this flyer here, and hopefully that combined firepower might be able to bring that flyer down. It'd be good news for the Necrons if we can eliminate this one from the game. So Necron shooting coming up. How effective will the flyers be against the Storm Raven? Flyer has fired and got 4 hits, and he got a 6. That was 2 bonus hits. And then we've rolled to penetrate. We've got 2 6s. We've penetrated the flyer. James is going to jink. What does he get? A cocked and a 6. Come on, a 3. We got through. We're through the armor, so that's the whole point. And maybe we'll roll up a nice big 6. We do. That's the end of the flyer. He's not happy. I'm not going to film his face. But he's not happy. That's the end of the Storm Raven. Right, it's turn 3 for the Necrons, and they are really winding up James here. The Scarabs quite happy sitting where they are, along with the Spiders and the Ghost Ark, so that's a nice defensive line there. Coming around, these guys have run 5 inches in a good position to strike, and then the command barge has zoomed along 18 inches and is now staring in the face of the Predator Annihilator. So you can have to deal with that chariot vehicle there. Coming around, the flyer ambush has worked and brought down the flyer. The Imperial, the Blood Angels player, James, is extremely frustrated. 2 Terminators have died. This one fired down and killed one, and then a humble snapshot from the Monolith killed the another Terminator. So anger there. Have you done a morale check? Yes. He's done a morale, so at least he hasn't run away, which is good. So it's good shooting from the Necrons. So we're going to move on now. The Blood Angels turn 3. Can they recover? What will his next flyer do? That's if it turns up. So let's see what happens on Blood Angels turn 3. Right, Blood Angels turn 3. The Terminators have began the march towards the Monolith, moving up the alleyway here, and might be able to get in charge range. Need about 7 inches to reach. Land Raiders moved up, and the Razorback stayed where he is. The Dreadnoughts move through the cover here, looking to, he is after those Wraiths. Might be a showdown there if he can charge, and he'll certainly fire. And then down here, the Predator is in trouble. He needs to try and bring down the Catacomb Command Barge. When you play 40k, yes, there are armies that are just quite standard, they don't really wind you up. Imperial Guard are one, Space Marine is quite straightforward, but there are some races out there that you play against that just wind other players up. One of them's Eldar. James hates the Eldar. And Necrons, he hates the Necrons as well, because they pull out cheesy moves such as this one. There's no escape for this Predator. He's doomed. We shall see. So, and the Necrons have got more tricks up their sleeve as they toy with and destroy this Blood Angels army. It's impressive firepower from the Blood Angels. The Dreadnought killed 2 Wraiths, and the twin-linked heavy bolter killed another. So we're fearless, we stay where we are, but that's significant casualties there. And then 2 penetrating hits and an explosion on the Catacomb Command Barge, and a wound from the explosion as well. So it's pretty good going. He's shot up and found to do any damage on the flyers. We're just going to move on now to Blood Angels assaults on turn 3. Will the Dreadnought reach, and will the Terminators reach the monolith? Right, the Terminators have made it in. That's good going. Now usually it's glancing hits thereafter, but he rolled red first on them, so they're going to be hitting at strength 10. That's not good. So the monolith could be in trouble there. And then over here the Dreadnought has failed to make it into combat with the Wraith. So we're going to roll this one up, see what the result is. Can he smash the second monolith? It's just one of those days for the Blood Angels. He's rolled all his attacks. He got about 7 hits, just needed 4s to glance, 5s and 6s to penetrate. He rolled 2 4s, so he's glanced it. He hasn't destroyed the monolith. It's a bad day at the office for the Blood Angel army. So we're going to move on now to Necrons turn 4. Right, Necron movement on turn 4. The Scarabs have fallen back. We're just wary of the Terminators that he has. And then these guys have moved up this direction now. I'd rather him fight those than the Scarabs. The Command Barge has just shifted up a little bit to the left-hand side, and we've bred more Scarabs here, so this unit's got bigger and it's just hiding behind the terrain. And then a bit of a slick move from the Necrons. They've dropped off the Warriors. Unit here, unit over there, and then the Flyers have gone off the table, have left combat airspace, and will come back on in ongoing reserves. These guys thought about attacking the Dreadnought, but it's not really worth it. Need to get that Razorback destroyed, so we're going to go after that. And then this guy's rolled a 6, moved out of cover to try and take out the Predator Annihilator. So going on now to shooting phase of the Necrons. We'll see if we can eliminate those last of the Terminators there. See how effective our firepower can be. Alright, Necron shooting on turn 4. The firepower from the Necron Warriors and the Portal of Exile have taken out 2 more of the Terminators. Portal of Exile sucked in the Terminator Sergeant. He's gone. He's been sucked away into eternity there. And then and then that's all the shooting. So we're going to do the assaults now. You've got the Wraith, just going to charge into the Razorback here, and then the Overlord charging into the Predator Annihilator. So the Overlord's gone in, and the Wraiths have made it as well. So they are piling in on top of the Razorback there. We'll see if we can break open that transport vehicle. The Wraiths have cracked open the Razorback and wrecked it. Didn't blow it up, so he's disembarked. He's moving 3 inches and he'll be moving off to get away from there. And then over here it's revenge from the Necron Overlord who's destroyed the Predator, so it's mission accomplished for him. Who still haven't had the Blood Angels Death Company arrive yet. They're still to come on, so the game's not over yet. So we're going to move on now to Blood Angels turn 4. so Blood Angels turn 4, movement, flies come on automatically up the table when he's hunting down the monolith, so he's got clear shot on there. Then the lone Terminator's moving up, looking to try and take on these Necron warriors, and the Land Raider's gone full speed up and over the crater and on, pushing on towards the objective. He's got 5 guys still inside, ignoring the Wraiths here and moving his infantry around to try and move on to this objective. And the Dreadnoughts come out and should have no problem in taking out those Necron warriors as well. So that's where the fight is, whilst the Necrons still sit on those high scoring point objectives. We've still got the Death Company to come out, and we'll move on now to Blood Angels shooting on turn 4. Right, Blood Angels turn 4 shooting. He's had a change of heart. These guys now, the plan is to turn around and to charge the Wraiths. That's it, he's going to be bold and go after those, why not? And then the Dreadnought fired the frag cannon and wiped out the warriors. They're gone. So that's pretty good shooting from the Blood Angels. They're not out of the game yet. Land Raiders moved up full pelt, and the flyer, effective multi-melter hit, got a glance, but that was enough. We're already on 3 glancing hits, so the monolith is out of the game and wrecked as well. So Blood Angels mopping up the Necrons pretty good, and we're going to move on to assaults now in Blood Angels turn 4. Alright, Blood Angels assaults, they've made it in. He's rolled high, and the assault marines have charged in. So there's a combat there, and then just on the other side the Terminator has gone up and over and reached the warriors. Now we've got 4 hits and 4 wounds, but he's saved them all on 2+, so there are 2 combats to resolve there. And if it goes well for the Blood Angels, that is really mopping up the Necron threat, and really then he'll be able to gather himself together and move on to the Necron position. So it's been going well for the Necrons, but the game is far from over, so we'll get these combats resolved as we move on to the end of the turn. Combat, James is going to go first, so he's got a power weapon there, but I'm all at 3+ in Vun saves anyway, so roll him up. He's got a fair amount of attacks there, so he's got 6 hits and he wants 4s to wound. Yeah, 2, pretty poor, and we'll roll well, a double 6. Right, now the turn of the Wraiths. See what we can do. So we have 3 attacks each. 2, 3. We want 4s to hit. That's pretty good going. Can't complain. 6s for Rends would be nice. Got a Rend and got 4 wounds. So he's taken 1 off, and then some saves.
Crying out loud.
A 1 and a 2, so there's 2 more Marines gone. It was bravery, it was the correct Space Marine policy, but it hasn't pulled off. He's not fearless, so we're asking for morale. He's rolled a double 6. So, yes, we'll chase. We rolled a 5. If he rolls poor, no, he gets away. So he's escaped the raid. Right, so assault results here. James has lost there. He's lost 3 to the Wraiths, and he's fallen back 9. Now he'll regroup. And then over here, there was 1 hit on James, but he passed, and then he killed a warrior. But reanimation protocol is the end of the turn. We've got back up again, so that warrior's back. And we passed morale, so that melee continues. So that's the end of turn 4. We'll move on to turn 5 now, which could be the end of the game. We shall see as we move on to Necron turn 5. shape of the battlefield has changed on turn 5. The Scarabs moved up, they're now on that objective, that 3-point objective just in there, and they're being supported by the Tomb Spiders as well. And over here, look at these Scarabs, they've bred again. So they have a huge unit of Scarabs. That Land Raider is doomed. So Land Raider's doomed, is in deep trouble. The Warriors have got out, led by the Necron Overlord, looking out across the battlefield. This is his planet, and the Blood Angels are not welcome. So they're there with Phaerons, they'll get to shoot, and supported by the Ghost Ark as well. So multiple firepower and assault strength from the Necrons here on turn 5. The Wraiths have moved up and around, and they're going to take on the Dreadnought as well. And then the Overlord here, right in this corner of the battlefield, has moved out, and he's looking to chase the last of his troops here. And then remember, we took these out of combat airspace. Well, they're automatically back on turn 5. Perfect timing. The two of them arrived, looking up the table to take out his last flyer. Air power versus air power, and the Necrons are in command of the skies. Credit where it's due. Necron command structure and plan implementation is superior. So fire from the Ghost Ark and from this Phaeron unit here within 12 inches of the Land Raider have fired up and across the table. All of that Gauls fire, and look at the results there for the Gauls hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sixes. The Land Raider has been reduced. Didn't even need to use the Scarabs in the end. So shooting for the Necrons on turn 5. Fired up the table here with the Phaeron unit and with the transport, and have wrecked the Land Raider, all those Gauls weapons. And then over around here, a bit of a strange result. James went at cruising speed, and the first flyer shot and got an immobilized result, so he's received a hull point, and he's in locked velocity now. So as far as we understand the rules, he has to go at cruising speed every turn. If he goes into hover mode, he'll have to go at cruising speed, which means he will not be able to deploy his units that are being transported in there. That's how we understand the rules, that's how we're going to play it out. So really, the Death Company and the Dreadnought are stuck inside unless I blow that flyer up, and then they'll be available again. So that's a real kick in the teeth there for the Blood Angels. So that's the shooting done. We're going to move on to assaults. Multiple assaults now as we move into the end of this turn 5 for the Necrons. So assaults for the Necrons on turn 5. The Wraiths have made it in against the Dreadnought here, and then the Scarabs are pouring over the wreck of this Land Raider and are into the assault squad there. So he's got a lot of Scarabs to deal with and try and fight them off. He gave him 2 wounds as they charged in on Overwatch. It's good shooting. And then down here we've got the continuing melee, 6 warriors against the lone Terminator. So we'll resolve those now. Right, combat results here. 3 Assault Marines have been killed, and he did 4 wounds in return, but they're fearless, so that melee continues. Had 50 attacks with the Scarabs there. Nasty when they're in mass. And then over here, he killed a Necron warrior, but we held our ground, so that melee continues. And then over here, he crushed a Wraith, and we did no damage in return. So all 3 melees still continue, and they'll go on into Blood Angels turn 5. Could be the last turn of the game. Blood Angels turn 5. These guys have moved out of the crater and backed off. They'll just be firing pistols at the Overlord as he moves in. Not really much left to do. That combat goes on. That combat goes on. that combat goes on, and this flyer has pivoted and gone the minimum that he needs to go. He's gone 18. He's still flying. He's going to try and melt this flyer off and out of the way, and then carry on flying after that. That's as close as you can get in the game. So, Blood Angels shooting now, coming up on turn 5. Right, shooting for the Blood Angels. Not much really, just this flyer here. Locked velocity, 2 hull points on the flyer there, the Night Scythe. And then he tried to fire laser cannon across, but rolled a 1 on the armor penetration, so didn't do any damage on that flight. It would have been classy shooting if he'd have been able to bring both down. So we'll see how the Necrons react to that, and we'll get on with these combats here as well. And he hit on 2 6s and caused 2 wounds, but we saved both on the Overlord there. So on to combats now for Blood Angels on turn 5. Right, assaults. He got the hits, but we passed our invuns there, and we did no damage back on him, so that combat goes on. But you can see the Scarabs flooding through the gap here. They managed to wipe out the last 2 of the Assault Marines, who took a wound in return. And we've moved up to try and finish off the Dreadnought there. And then in the combat, it's another kill for the Assault Terminator. So that's knocked the Warriors down. Any reanimation protocols, he didn't get back up, so that unit's down to 4. Past morale on a 9. So that's the end of turn 5. Not much left on the table. Death Company would love to come on, but they're stuck inside their flyer. James has rolled, and the game continues. We're going to move on to turn 6. We're going to see if the Necrons can tidy up the table here and pull off a victory, or if the Blood Angels can pull something out of the bag at this very desperate stage. Turn 6 coming up. So turn 6 for the Necrons. The Scarabs and the Spiders have stayed there. The transport's moved up and over. We've got a view to try and get over towards that combat there, because I'll be able to start recreating Necrons if I can get within 6 inches. Or we may fire across at the flyer there, but we got ourselves immobilised. We're not going anywhere, which is a shame. Warriors have stayed here, just sitting on the 4-point objective quite comfortably. Flyers have moved up and over. This one here at locked velocity, it's steadily going over in this direction towards the last of his Assault Marines, and this one's flown over to try and finish them off as well. And then the Overlord has rolled a 6, so he's on his way into combat. Then just down there, really the Scarabs are happy where they are, try and take out that Dreadnought there. So we're going to move on to shooting for the Necrons. Battlefield really now dominated by the Necrons and their flyers flying across this desert landscape over the last of the Blood Angel resistance. Shooting phase coming up. Right, just shooting for the Necrons. The Night Scythe firing down has killed the Sergeant. He failed his lookout, so he's gone. Just 1 Marine left down there. Pretty empty looking. You've got to have respect for the Necrons. In Warhammer 40,000, they are a nightmare to play against, and they are overwhelming the battlefield. Here you can see the amount of Scarabs is quite unbelievable. We're going to move on now to assaults for the Necrons on turn 6. Right then, assaults for the Necrons. The Scarabs have piled into the Dreadnought there, and then the Overlord has made it into combat with the Assault Marine. The last gasp of this Blood Angels army. So we can get those results down. Right, results on the combats for the Necrons. He did extremely well. He killed the last of the Wraiths, who failed 2 invuln saves, and he's got rid of them. He's got a point for killing a fast attack. But these Scarabs have overwhelmed him, knocked his armour down, and then glanced him to death with a 666. So that's the end of the Dreadnought, and then over here, the last of the Assault Marine that was killed by the Overlord. So really all he's got on the table is the lone Terminator, who did another kill. So that melee continues. So all he's got left on the table is that lone Terminator and the flyer with the locked velocity. That is all that's left of the Blood Angels army, and there's still plenty of Necrons around. So we'll go on to Blood Angels turn 6 as the game fades away. Alright, moving for the Blood Angels on turn 6. There isn't really much to do. All he's got left is that Terminator, who's now staying in combat, and then he was out of position with the fly, so he zoomed him off the table, perhaps hoping to bring him on turn 7, but really a lost cause. Necrons are all over the table. So we'll move on to combats now. The lone Terminator smashing his way through these Necron warriors here. So again, the Terminator's killed one of the Necron warriors, but we've passed morale. We didn't get up with the reanimation protocols. He's just one at a time smashing his way through. That's it. That's the end of Blood Angels turn 6. James is just going to roll 4+ for another turn. A 1. The game finishes with 1 Blood Angels Terminator left on the table. Necrons have made their mark. That is for sure. Right, just calculating out the score here. James got a point for first blood. He killed the monolith. And then for Necrons, it's a lot of objective points. There's 3 around the corner here. And 4 points here for holding this one. And then 3 points here for holding this one. So that's 10. HQ unit choice in James's deployment zone, that is 11. And then we're just remembering that James killed the Wraiths, which was a fast attack choice, so he gets a point for that. So final score, 11 points to the Necrons and 2 points to the Blood Angels. It was almost tabled, except for that lone Terminator up on the rocks there. So, a cracking game, fierce, deadly and merciless. The firepower of the Necrons has carried the day.